All right, joining me now on the CCHA show is Connor Milburn, junior forward for Lake Superior State. And Connor, how you guys closed out last season with the Lakers. You have to be pretty happy with how the season ended for you guys. Not that how it ultimately ended right in the playoffs, but just the progress you guys made from beginning to end. You think?
Yeah, it was pretty good to see the guys kind of come together and put a series together there in St. Thomas, especially against a good team. I know they were hurt a little bit, which kind of helped us out a bit. But no, it was good to see the guys come together towards something there, especially after this season we had my freshman year. To bounce back the next season and win a playoff series was pretty cool.
No, someone for yourself and obviously your brother as well, coming from Western Canada. What were your kind of thoughts on going back to before you decided to come to Lake State? Just what were your thoughts on college hockey as a whole, and what do you think of it now that you're obviously a few years in?
Yeah, I mean, coming from Western Canada, like a lot of the kind of aspirations as a young kid is to go play in the WHL, right? And I never really had much of a look. So I was a little bit of a smaller kid, kind of growing up. Didn't hit my growth spurt till a bit later. And, it wasn't really until I made like a junior A team that I was like, oh, like this could be a realistic goal for me. And, coming out here has been the best decision I've ever made. It's awesome. I love it out here. So, but yeah, it's something I didn't really think about until I was, 18, 19.
That's pretty cool. And you played you played a couple of years with the Chilliwack Chiefs there. What was your junior experience like? You weren't too far from home, right?
No, we're about 2.5 hours away from home, so not too bad. A little different from being out here now, but.
Is this the first time you played with your brother this year and last?
So I played with Regan when I was 17 and he was 15 in midget. He was first year and I was a third year, so got to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so you got a couple years break and then you're back together again.
Yeah, we basically just paused for juniors and then back together again.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You guys, you seem to always get coaches' alma mater in there. You get Michigan State again to start the year. Really good game on Friday. Probably could have won that one if you could have hit a couple posts. I think it could have gone a different way. What was your overall takeaway from that weekend, and what did the coaches have to say to you guys after that?
Yeah, it would have been nice to get a win on Friday. But I think the biggest thing that we took away from it was that we're not like that's a top four. What are they ranked number 4 right now? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 coming into the preseason there. So I mean, it was pretty cool to see how we can kind of compete with those guys. And one thing that we took a lot from them was they transitioned the puck very, very well, very quick. And so we're trying to kind of incorporate that into our play a bit more, because I think this team that we have right here this year is like super fast. It's fastest I've been a part of. So I think we're trying to taking the positives from something from that weekend.
That's something that a lot of people don't think about. Maybe is the things that you're doing well, and you pick out somebody else's game, or you see a player do something on the ice with their stick, and you say, oh, and you go practice that a little bit. It's a little bit interesting, at least from an outsider, at least. You were named one of the 3 preseason players of the year in the CCHA. Obviously, you had put up 35 points last year. That went a long way to that. I'm sure coaches recognizing that. Does that mean anything to you as far as just maybe getting a little bit of recognition for your play? I know you were a finalist, or you were a top defensive forward, I think, last year as well.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's pretty cool to see that. I don't know who votes on that as the media and coaches. So, I mean, It's pretty cool to be recognized like that. But at the end of the day, it's preseason, so it doesn't really mean anything coming down the stretch. So, but it's cool regardless.
Very cool. And you guys, whenever I see highlights of you scoring or watching you play, you have that net drive. Is that something that you picked up over your youth career, or when did you? Because you said you weren't very big. When did you have the body to be able to pull that move off?
I mean, I didn't grow until I was like 16, 17. I think I grew like 6 or 7 inches in like a year and a half. So my knees and back were hurting a little bit. But even in the juniors, like I was like 6'1", 6'2" going into juniors, so I still grew throughout. I think last year was the first year I saw growing. So I didn't really have like a lot of like that power forward until kind of like last year, where I was able to finally put on some weight. So it's been relatively new, I would say, maybe last year or two, kind of being able to be a bit stronger in my frame. But it's definitely something that is fun to play with.
Absolutely. I mean, you incorporate the power and the speed, right? That's kind of the ultimate goal there. And I just seem like half the goals I see you just kind of like turning the corner on somebody and getting to the net.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice being able, especially being a longer body too. I can kind of get my legs and hands away from somebody, and makes it a little bit easier to create some separation and get to the net.
For you guys, I know this last weekend you had a couple exhibition games. You played the under 18 team, the national team, which I think year to year you get a different kind of level of ability from that group. But you guys took care of business. I watched at least half of both of those games you guys had this weekend. I know John Harrington had a great weekend for you guys, and Lewandowski I think had a hat trick against the Red Leafs there. I know those games don't count, but you put up 11 goals. So what's the kind of, I guess, takeaway from that? You were putting the puck in the net different ways, power play, a little bit of rush there as well.
Yeah, I was just kind of building on our principles that the coaches have been preaching to us all kind of preseason long here. So it was good to kind of see the offense finally click after we struggled a little bit against Michigan State there. So I mean, it's good to see some different contributors too. Like Johnny had a good year last year. He put a couple points up. But like Lewandowski, like it's good to kind of see him kind of finally shining. Like you kind of see spurts of it his freshman year, and then now he'll be a pretty key contributor, I would think, coming into the rest of the season here. And then like even Regan had a great he had a great
couple
week.
Of tip-ins,
couple goals. So it's good to see those guys, the younger guys start to contribute more. It's kind of like what I did last year, right? So it's good to see the depth that we have.
Very cool. And you guys, on the back line, I know you have Evans back there as a sophomore now, and it seems like you guys have that group is just kind of another year older, and there's some experience kind of growing there, not just for your forward group there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we had, I think, 11 freshmen last year.
Yeah.
Of that group, 9 are back. So like, they all played most of them played a lot of games last year for us, and so it's good to just like you said, that experience kind of finally paying off, and they're being a bit more comfortable with the puck, comfortable to make better plays and more, I guess you could say, like offensive or risky plays, and it's paying off. So no, it's good to see that though.
How was that trip to Plymouth and that rink you guys played in over there?
It's not bad. It was like 5 hours for us, so
okay.
Bus ride. The rink's pretty nice. We got a nice little room. We were in some high school hockey room. That was good.
Good little trip there. It still kind of feels like preseason when you're playing exhibition games, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a little weird. It's a little weird playing the national development team too, because they're 07s.
Yeah, so they're all kids. Yeah,
6, 7, 8 years younger than some of the guys in our team. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then playing Canadian University is always a little different. I mean, they're not far from where I live back home. They're only
okay.
So I know a couple of guys. One of the guys is from Kamloops, so grew up playing with him, and then played against some of the guys in the CCHA and with one of them too. So it's good to see them.
Kind of on that note, I know you guys are at least aware of the fact that the CHL players could be eligible in as early as any moment now of playing college hockey. What's kind of the players' kind of thoughts on that, or guys that you've played with or known to go on and play in the WHL or Ontario League, of having an opportunity to go to college hockey? Do you what's the student athlete kind of feel on that?
I mean, I think overall, the guys are a little wary of it, but I think in general it'll be a good thing for the NCAA. I don't think it'll water us down. They're going to be taking good players from the CHL and moving them into our league, so it's only going to make the league stronger. But it's just something new that none of the guys have really had to worry about before, and then all of a sudden, it's the last couple months, it's kind of been sprung on us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I haven't really put a lot of research or thought into it.
Yeah.
For whatever happens, I'm sure it'll be a benefit to more kids, and it won't. So I mean,
right.
It'll be cool to see how it all works out once we get the the final details and what stipulations the CHL guys have to have in order to come down, and how long they have to stay in their own CHL league before they come. Or
right.
It is, so, but it'll be cool to see once it finally happens.
Yeah, it seems like the details need to be kind of flushed out as far as what is allowed. And same with the European kids, right? They come over, kids are getting punished for playing in, a game or two in Finland or Sweden.
Yeah.
As far as then they have to sit out in the U.S., that just kind of gets wiped away as long as they don't sign a contract, which I think is the biggest thing. Is signing a full pro contract is the kind of deciding factor whether or not you're eligible.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, if they sign a full pro, I would see them probably having to stay in the CHL because
Yeah.
I think that would ruin your eligibility. But I mean, yeah, like you said, we'll have to wait and see what they do.
Yeah, they're sorting that out. We won't. I was just kind of curious on what you guys either knew or even thought about this whole kind of thing as it's starting to play out.
Yeah, it's new. We've only been kind of really thinking about it for the last couple of months, so
Yeah,
it'll be cool once we see what it actually entails.
absolutely. You guys are headed to, or you're home, I should say, against Stonehill here.
Yeah.
This weekend, new program or new to Division One. They do have a win. They beat Merrimack a couple weeks ago. But what is obviously you're not too worried about who you're playing because you get to be back at Taffy able again. But what's the kind of mentality of this team coming off the offensive success you had in exhibition play to getting back into the swing of games that count?
Yeah, we just want to keep it rolling. Keep our habits and what our coaches are preaching. We're gonna keep that consistent and just continue to build off of it. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. Like, sure, they're new, but I mean, college hockey, anything can happen on any day, right? Like, look at Merrimack, probably should win, right? But
Yep.
Happens. So that could be us this weekend, right? Obviously, we don't want that to happen. So just gotta take it one game at a time and put our best foot forward and close them out.
Are there any games that you kind of circle on the schedule? I know every game matters, the one that's upcoming, but you have Ohio State on the schedule. Obviously, your rivalry with Northern is big. That for people don't know about that. You play them home and home every year.
Yep.
For that, I believe the trophy you're leaning your device on right now.
Yeah.
It's cool they have in your barn, but are those kind of the little things that stand out as far as being a Laker hockey player?
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool being able to play for a trophy like this. It's pretty sweet. Like right now, I'm staring at the nameplate, and it's got all the past winners on it. So I think we need to get a little bit more of a win streak coming back here. So hopefully we'll win a couple of years in a row here.
Yeah.
But like even other games, like going down and play at Ohio State, that'll be pretty cool. Get to see their facility and play in front of a pretty big crowd. And then one thing I'm looking forward to is going up to Alaska too. I haven't never been up there, so it'll be
okay.
Cool. Go back out west a little bit and see some mountains again.
You're headed to Anchorage, I believe, in a couple of weeks or maybe a month from now.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. And yeah, those trips are always interesting. It's funny to hear different thoughts on going to Alaska. Some might not be too excited if they do it a lot, but if you've never done it before, I'm sure it could be exciting. For yourself being a leader on this team, do you feel like you started taking on some of those responsibilities already last year as a sophomore?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I've always been kind of a leader by example. I find like I like to be the hardest working guy out there as often as I can, and so I think that I was always that in a sense for the team, even through my freshman year, just trying to push guys and on the ice and always working hard. And then last year, I kind of think I stepped more into more of a vocal role. Where I was starting to pipe up in the dressing room and maybe had the coach's ear a little bit too, which was cool to see. And then this year it's just kind of amplified that, getting to be a bit more, even more vocal on the ice, on the bench, in the room, and just continuing doing those things to make sure that the team can do what they can to win.
Absolutely. And for your guys, do your coaches give you kind of the reins, whether it's between periods or practice or that kind of thing to kind of voice your opinion on different parts of the team's game and what you guys are working on?
Yeah, usually right after the period's over, we'll sit down and kind of talk as a team for 5-6 minutes, and then the coaches will come in and kind of reiterate some of the stuff that we said or some stuff that we missed, and then we'll get to kind of go back at the guys after the coaches leave and reemphasize some stuff or point out the stuff that we missed. So it's yeah, I would say we're like a vocal locker room in that sense, which is good to see, and I think it definitely helps us out.
Awesome. Well, Connor, I think we're out of time here. I want to just thank you for coming on and giving us a little bit of insight into the world of Laker hockey.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me.